On the left you can see the before and on the right the after. I use this gear for demolition and safety. I put on the harness in the following way. I attach the roof anchor off camera and now attaching the harness to the rope leading to it. As you can see, being flexible to some extent is required. The first thing I'm going to do is move this piece of wood under that window. This is how it looks like from the top. This is where I had the previous board. I will use some caulking for these holes. Roofing cement and done. And for the new one, people say that you need to drive those through the studs. I have no idea where the studs are, so I just drove it through and that's it. This is the other side. You buy those pieces at Home Depot, Menards, whatever. So I'll do the same on the other side. I'm using this drill and those screws. And the board is regular board. I think it's pine, not treated. Doesn't really matter. It will not rot immediately, so it's fine. And I tapped a nail through on both sides. And what's holding me, you've seen it from the bottom, but it's something like this. I can move up like that. And the top, I secured it. The reason why I'm replacing it because there was a hail damage and some other damage. It cracked. It's not good. And it's too small to shave it like I'm doing in my previous videos and sand it, so I'm going to remove everything, add proper flashing underneath, paint the window, caulk it, seal it. Also the sides are not in a good shape. This is better, but some of them are cracked. This side is even worse. I don't know why it's like that, but it's like that. So I need to replace everything. The soffit looks fine, so I'm just going to paint it. I'm going slowly from the bottom up. As you can see, there's no tarp paper, just insulation. So whoever built it, thank you, well done. How I'm removing it, I'll try to show to you with one hand. It's not easy. So I'm getting rid of this part, being careful not to bend the foam, just removing this part. And then when it's time to remove the nail, I'm not doing like this. It will damage the foam like that. And then pushing towards this board, which I will remove also shortly. And doing the same thing everywhere. I need to replace the triangles as well. They're not in good shape. Split it. And for those saying that cedar doesn't rot, this is after 30 years. Some areas are rotten. Instead of replacing the entire board, I will use wood filler. I cleaned everything. Now I can put some wood filler. This is what I'm going to use. Instead of metal piece, I'm going to use wooden to not damage the wood. While the wood putty is drying, I'm removing the existing paint from the window with paint striper. Then I clean the striper with afterwash and finally soap and water. If you're interested in a in-detail video about window restoration, check out the one on my channel. Some installers avoid from applying flashing tape on the bottom to allow trapped water to escape. While that's nice in theory, my 30 years old house water damage proved otherwise. Please ignore the paint on the glass, I will remove it later. .44 degrees. I had to use a saw to cut a small piece that was sticking too far out. Added one more here and a few here. Whatever is sticking out, I'll cut it in. $120. I started from the bottom, then used this piece for equivalent distance. And I left a gap from both sides for expansion and contraction. For those worried about will it hold in place, it will also have caulking from both sides that will hold it. Yes, it will hold it in place. I've used a 16 gauge nailer because here it's really small and the pieces will crack. And by the way, for those doing it on your own, once you will remove one piece from, I don't know, whatever reason, since it's cracked, it's possible that while you're removing it, it will crack the piece below. So, I don't know what to tell you, be careful. Yeah. And what else? I didn't use the big nailer because it will simply crack the wood. So the final result will look like this. With the caulking, it will not go anywhere. Another thing some of you might want, if you do it on your own, to make one big piece here, cut it, and leave those edges. It's possible. I don't want the headache. I'll just put a new piece on top and that's it. So it will look like this. If you will do it on your own and you will decide to cut this piece and eliminate this little piece, everything from here upwards will shift a little bit down. Then it's possible that you might have a problem with the last piece. Possible. Just be aware of that if you're doing it on your own. Another thing to be aware of are the studs, the pieces of wood behind everything. I know that it's here, here, and here, and I will continue with this design. If you will not hit the wood into the stud, it will just be loose and in time might fall. Now I'll show you how I'm doing the angle, because the roof has an angle. Let's assume that this is the piece that I installed right above the window. It is straight. The next piece needs a 45-degree angle, but where? I took this piece that guarantees equivalent distance between the pieces, marked this piece, took the same distance from here to the top and marked this location. So let's talk with numbers. I had a distance of 4 centimeters from here till here. I copied the same distance to the top, marked both sides, and this is how I will cut it. Later on, I used my helper, which is the piece that guarantees equivalent distance between the boards, and placed it so it will touch the top of the roof, the bottom of the board, and stay leveled. Once all 3 conditions were met, I used the pencil and marked the outside of the helper from both sides. Finally, I measured the distance and cut the upper piece according to that measurement. This is the last piece. I have some kind of holder to hold things in place and not to cut my fingers. paintable exterior. I finally apply a second layer of coffee semi-transparent stain. For those wondering, the white will become transparent once fully cured. If you do it on your own or you're a homeowner and you're done, this needs to be removed. And where the nails or screws were, you need to patch it. Make sure the holes are sealed. Otherwise, if you will leave holes, the rain will go inside and create water damage. I will still keep it because I need to change the sides. Not in a good shape. Time taken, 2 days. Cost for materials, around $250. Cost for materials and tools, around $2 grand. Thanks for watching.